my first reaction to the topic was, when are we going to stop dividing people by gender, by color, by race, by religion, by sexual preference? When do we stop putting lines in the sand, start erasing them, and embrace all beings? And then I thought, well, when that notion gets some ground under it, I guess. And I think that's one of the things that we have to concentrate on right now, is making sure that all voices are given equal respect and equal active attention. It's not enough, and it's certainly not helpful, to burn buildings and protest and scream and become violent. I understand absolutely the reaction and the impulse. But I think for all of us who are taking part in these meetings, our hearts are saying, no, that can't be the way anymore. And so it's incumbent on every one of us to find a personal way of transforming that human reaction to stress and fear, and to help everybody around us find a kinder way, a more respectful way of understanding, listening to, and embracing everybody.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm deeply grateful to be in your company. And I think my role is really to listen, but simply to affirm the importance of searching for a way to balance masculine and feminine ways of understanding experience. In my 50 years of ministry, I have seen patriarchy and hierarchy and unrestrained masculinity be a severe impediment to the purposes of, in my case, Christianity, but to all spiritual paths. So thank you very much. I appreciate being a part of this.
I wonder if Anne or Alejandra have anything to share? Or Lucy?
Yeah. Once again, I would like to share through an incident what makes my spirituality or women's spirituality more sacred. I want to share, when we are cooking and serving the food for the migrant workers who were walking back home, there was a very poor lady, very, very poor lady who was living on the street. And she comes with a little rice wrapped up in a newspaper. And she said, all these people are walking back home, and I also wanted to share, but I don't have gas to cook the rice. And she gave that rice to one of our social workers and said, maybe, tomorrow when you are cooking, cook this also, so that I feel I have done something. I feel, these are the type of people, or this is the type of spirituality that I would like to have within me. This is that is the type of temple or church that I would like to join. I felt a deep kind of spirituality within that lady who had nothing, not even food to cook her own rice, but then she's sharing that with us. So I felt, the kind of a calling from within. I felt there's so much of hope outside there, because of course, when we were sharing the food with the people, there was nothing in my head, but it was all given by the people, and that's what we were sharing. And I felt, that was the type of love that we were receiving from the people all around, especially from these women who was from the street living in that little hut. Yeah.
I was really touched by the comments. Where are you? Venerable Gawa's comments. When can we just stop the madness? And I realized that going from this teaching about this being an inside job, that in the present moment, we all have been shaped by these patterns of patriarchy and male domination. Having been one of the first 20 Black women ordained in the Anglican Communion, and then stumbling into being asked to be an imama in this little Muslim community, I have confronted, kind of surges of opposition for decades, and realized that the place that I have to go, the only place I can stand is on that, what I feel to be my calling. That the assignment didn't come from me. It came from somewhere inside me, and I can't not do it. At the same time, the work that I have to do to speak up, to take my place, to own my spiritual sovereignty is continuous. I'm practically 70 years old, and I'm still having to fight on a daily basis to be able to open my mouth and say what I'm called to say, and step into who I'm called to be. And so I want to put out a call to my sisters here, and the sister in all of the people who are embodied as male here, because there are ways in which all of us feel that we don't belong, or we're waiting for someone's entitlement. And so to offer who we are. And so learning how to support one another in finding our voices, to step back in times when we need to step back, and step forward when we need to step forward, and step toward one another. That's what's been important to me.
Thank you, Anne. I'd like to share one thing. Is that Alejandra? I see you were going to go.
No, it's okay. I can wait for you.
Okay. Thank you. So, Will and I are doing a co-ministry. I mean, we always have, but we're in a church right now, and it's been interesting over the last 8 months, and to be in an institution, in an organization where I feel what you're speaking to, Anne, experiencing it. And one example of that, and I share it in the spirit of just bringing forward that challenge as women, and I'm saying as most women experience just the struggle to get up to a place where we're heard and acknowledged for whatever we're bringing forward. One thing that's driven me crazy lately over the last few years is I've been talking about love and the agape love for years, but all of a sudden it's become the thing to talk about. And now a man will talk about it and everyone bows at his feet. Everyone's like, oh my God, he's got the new thing. And I'm just like, if I got up there and spoke about that, it would be just soft. Oh, isn't she sweet? How nice is that, So, but recently when we were meeting in person, and I've been sharing and around this with Will, and about the struggle of getting up at the platform and speaking as a woman, because of how much work it is to be able to speak, even though I know I need to bring my voice out and everything. And I have things to say. But after doing a joint sermon together, we were in the passageway after the service, and a man stopped us, and he told he told Will how brilliant his message was and everything, and just went on and on. And then he looked at me, and we shared the sermon, and he looked at me and said, Cynthia, you're just so beautiful, and what you're wearing today just brings out the blue in your eyes. And there was it was like I just wanted to crawl back and say, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So I just share that in the spirit of bringing it forward, and I think many of us can relate to that. So thank you, Alejandra, for giving me a little space there to bring that forward before you spoke.
No, thank you for sharing. I love all the stories that have been shared. And I want to thank you, Donald, for your humbleness and joining our group and your words also. One of the things that was harder for me was to have to leave the one that was my teacher for 20 years and realize that I needed to start anew, basically. And to start with my own voice, bringing the kind of spirituality that I needed to live and I wanted to share. After 20 years of training, I didn't even know how to start from that space of realizing that I needed to have my voice heard, and no matter how much I would struggle, I was not going to be able to do it within the environment where I was. And what I found out is after that, thinking about how this leadership is that even the idea of having the word leadership is a problem, because we are all leaders in something. When we have a child, we are delivering that child with our whole bodies. When we're getting married, when we're sweeping the floor, when we're cooking, at all times, we're actually doing something. When we do it from the bottom of our hearts, that is true leadership. We don't need to have a title of leader. And the word itself, I find it as a problem. So my hope when we're talking about the feminine, the masculine, and the different roles is that we, as we were saying before, we could just stop with that. But before we can stop with that, we need to find our own personal power, not in the sense of how wonderful or how powerful or how a leader I am, but rather this is my gift to the world. This is what I can do. And there are so many things I cannot do, but we're doing it together. But then if I don't find that place within me and each one of us where we can actually feel that whatever we're doing is our present to the moment, our present to God, is what we can actually do in that instant, we can never feel that we are equal, and we can never build this community, because we were always going to look at somebody else to tell us what is the truth. And people around us are going to look at us for that truth. So I don't know if I'm being clear in what I'm trying to say, but that is my hope, that we can actually empower each other, and that we can know how much we depend on each other, and trust that we are doing all the best we can. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Can I share here? Can I? Okay, this is Jaime Valdez from Mexico, and I joined this group because I am here to honor my mother, who was a worker for women in Mexico, working women, and since then I've been doing men's work, the opposite. And also I am here to see what is yet invisible to me due to my privileges in this society, which is mostly patriarchal, especially in Mexico. So there are many things that I still don't see. And it's like they are there, but for me it's like air. The air is here, but I don't see it. Then also to support actually my partner. She in the past, I was like she used to follow me more spiritually, but now things are reversed, and she has evolved more rapidly than I have in spiritually, and I want to support her. And sometimes I find myself wanting to lead instead of just supporting and let her do her thing. So that's also a challenge for me. And she's more Christian in her spirituality, and I am more, they say, ecumenical, like what we have here. And we have some struggles there, but so that's why I came here to this room, to hear you out. Thank you.
Yes, I wanted just a quick remark about what's female or what's really male. I'm a single gay woman, Buddhist woman. I have to do everything by myself. So I don't have a man who cleans my house or puts the male stuff, you know. So for me, it's like hearing all this females or men around the world. Sometimes I'm a little bit alienated. I think that one of the problems is that we label too much. It's okay to label, to put a structure and things, you know, but on these matters, these leadership matters, like Cynthia said, you know, putting nice clothes, you know, this remark of this man, I really have the same, how do you call it in English, the same experiences. So I think it's putting seeds in the consciousness of men and women to work together and not labeling what's female or male. So that's just a quick remark I want to make.
Thank you. And Rosanna, you're going to speak.
Yeah, we just have 1 minute left, but I did see a question here from Steve. Why are women in general reluctant to take the lead?
That's a big question.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Anne's got unmuted. Go for it, Anne, in 30 seconds.
Because of the way we've been shaped, what we were born into, and so it's a matter of unlearning that. And we all start out human. We don't start out male and female. I mean, we don't start with that consciousness, but immediately, you know, the most important question when a baby is born that people ask is it a boy or a girl? And it starts right there. And so getting back to our humanity is a process. We have to learn it because we learn so quickly that divide is an essential divide. It's somehow fundamental, and that's misinformation. So we have to be re-informed. We have to be transformed.
Thank you, Anne. Great way to close.